All right.
We
So,
were
um, oh, right. Let's get to it. The intro. Oh my goodness. This
student
needs
orderly.
this needs to work correctly because I'm depending on this.
It should.
All right. So
We
that
good?
worked. That worked. That was good. You
We're
will
good at
find
this.
out, Knights, if that is good or bad later. Ha ha ha. All right. So first things first. I'd like to welcome Czech to the stream. Hopefully, he's going to bring more
How's it,
life
guys?
than I bring to the stream, where it sounds like I'm talking to a closet door. Czech should bring a little bit more punch to the face, I guess. So
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I
he's
guess. Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
he's got no reason to hold back. So ask any questions, and he'll find the real meaning. And if I don't answer, I'm pretty sure he'll choke me out for you. So,
Pretty much.
I feel like there was something else I was missing. I was gonna be dressed up as Mario. My kids actually made me pick up a Super Mario costume.
Hell, that would have been easy. I actually have a Luigi and Mario costume.
This
That,
should have planned that
you
out.
drew something
I didn't.
great.
We had just got home about I don't know 45 minutes ago, and I just didn't want to sit around for 45 minutes waiting for the stream to go live. I felt like it was going to be a really sad attempt to say Happy Halloween or whatever. So I didn't want to do that. So that
Eh,
was I don't know, maybe game day
it could have been
decision next
fantastic.
time. Yeah, we'll discuss it next time that comes around.
Yeah.
So a year from now.
Okay, I'll make a note. Yeah.
A reminder. Set it up. Hopefully your PC doesn't die and you still have it around in a year. So
QC like the dice. Probably not.
yep.
Anywho, enough death.
All right. So state of the game as always. Nothing's really changed. So we'll walk through them real quick. Flyover video update. Everything's rolling again. Once it's ready, we'll send it out to you. It's likely going to be ready month, maybe even 2 months before we're ready to go for the Kickstarter campaign. So you'll have it when we have it, not just when the Kickstarter goes. Obviously, it's essentially like free advertising for us. So right now, I know very specifically that they are working on the starting point and figuring out where the end
Well,
point is going to be. So I know that because I was asked where if it was all right to start in a very specific location, and I said it sounds pretty badass. So yeah, make it happen. Forum life's actually been dead. It's something we'll work on
yeah.
again. It's not the first time you'll hear me say this, and not the first time you've heard me say this. Won't be the last time. It's something I was talking to Chuck about a little earlier ago. Uh, earlier ago. Wow, I'm all over I'm hanging out with my
I would
daughter
say
too
you're
much, man.
everywhere.
My daughter just too much. I love her, but that woman right there, just all the words is hard. So the forum life, obviously, social media forums, not really our strong suit. We're not the social kind of gamers. We're the analyze and destroy kind of gamers. So we do have some Reddit stars and whatnot. If you're looking to get trolled, by all means, go for it. But and
That's
then
fun.
we're actually going to talk about our forums tonight. So, and then the social media life. Um, I mean, it is what it is. We're growing. We're pushing. I'm sure we could be doing a million things much better. Go change. Oh my good God. No, I'm not changing.
Not
It's
taking a break to go find a stupid Halloween costume in a box.
so it wouldn't
No.
have worked out anyways. Clean conscience. We're good. All right. So, um, Yeah, so welcome to the 14th Sacrament podcast, um, where it's doing exactly what Wicked warned me it would do and exposing myself to you guys, which is probably not a good thing. So,
Small amount.
tonight, let's see, what did we talk about last week? Last week we went over armor and socket slots. I still feel like I'm not properly giving that enough love, but I think when we get way more functionality in a
Yeah,
testing
about the
scenario,
big one.
that's really, yeah, that's really where it's going to be. And then the contest. Remember that contest is still active. You have a week still to vote. We got some pretty good votes in, but if you're voting for Kuzan, you need to get in there and vote because he's only got one, and I know he's supposed to win this damn thing. So let's get
Pretty
in
much.
there and vote for Kuzan, okay? So all right, so Check and I were talking earlier, and I decided probably good to carry this conversation over to everybody else. But we were talking about the forums, our forum life in specifically, and this really came when I said Check. I have no idea what the hell I'm gonna talk about tonight. Usually I go to the forums, but
Yeah,
um,
there's nothing there
yeah, there's
lately.
nothing there right now, and you know there's holiday seasons and a lot of big time testing, and let's face it, a lot of you are nerds. I'm a nerd. I'm not bashing. A lot of you bastards are in college and shit, taking tests or planning for them
Yeah.
or planning for vacations and whatnot. So we're it's not like we've got betas and alphas going on right now to have a whole bunch of life on the forums, so it's not like it's not a hit in the nuts that there's not a lot of action on the forums. The only thing I do need to do is I did notice earlier that the forums for general are at 666 conversations or things said. um, I'm not a religious man per se. That doesn't mean I like the numbers, so I'm probably just going to go somewhere
I
and
didn't
type the
even
word
know that. That's
okay.
actually kind of funny.
So
I never looked at that. I think we should leave it there.
I, all right, fine, whatever. The voice of reason is often the
Oh, oh, yours is a lie. You get to see topics the regular plebs like myself can't. It's only at 660. You're fine.
oh
We're
oh
fine.
okay, all right, all right,
Crisis averted.
very well. Well, is it though? Because the creators are seeing that number.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go make like seven freaking things and then we'll just call it square. How about
Just call
that?
it done.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
So maybe I'll get Knights and a Jealous to go attack the forums. I think a Jealous is actually on vacation right now. Uh,
It's funny as you said both their names and both of them just left the viewer list. That's the better part.
they saw 666 and bailed, man. I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. All right,
Yeah.
so while we were talking about the forums, we did mention, well, a series of events that had happened, and it kind of brought us to the discussion of, first and foremost, the good versus bad on the forums, right? So on a forum setting like ours, right? We're not Reddit. We're not everybody 100% freedom of speech, right? Because we want
Yeah.
an environment where you
It needs to
interact
stay
with people,
productive.
right? Interact with people, but don't be a major fucking douchebag, okay? Just there's no need for that. Um, but what's the difference between that and the censorship? I mean, somebody says something really stupid, and I go and change the comment, and then they're crying censorship. Now, to that, there are situations where you are being censored, right? Like one of the rules we had to come up with in house for our guys was that if you are involved in an argument,
Yeah.
you are not allowed to moderate that thread, right? It's probably a common sense rule that should have been in hand from the start, um, uh, but it is our weak point, so it did take us a smack in the face to realize that that was something that was wrong. We did jump on it. Had I seen anybody else jump on it, I would give them a ton of love for being able to isolate those kind of issues and whatnot. Um, we don't have a whole bunch of professionals sitting here, helping us create stuff that's already out there. Nobody's exactly sharing all of their in-house rules. There's not when it comes to the competitive nature of business, there isn't exactly all that much out there. The stuff you can see, the stuff you can diagnose is out there and it's active and people can see it. And then you just need people to actually do that stuff, which we don't have. We haven't really been shopping for that side of the house right now. Um, but when it comes to all the in-house, all the things that make the company spin on the inside, nobody's talking about that shit. They don't want to give away all their trade
I tried
secrets, and
googling a few seminars, but I couldn't find anything.
there's
About it.
a little bit of information about how to interact with people. Um, but you will be surprised how there's I mean when you look up managing forums and stuff like that, it's all about interacting with other people. It's not about protecting them from yourself or protecting yourself from yourself. There's really none of that out there. So good versus bad. I think there's two sides of that, right? Like
I say it's all opinion at the same time too. So
right. Um, as with everything, our game, right, is it's going to be a niche game. It's going to be challenging. It's going to push you. There's grind aspects and free roam aspects and all that stuff, but it's not going to be casual based. We're not free to play. Those two things right there tell me that the majority of the market's not even going to look twice at our game. It's just not going to happen. It's not anything bad. Um, we estimate a total of about 2 million people interested in the game itself. That doesn't mean 2 million people playing. That just
no,
means a potential for 2 million people to be playing this game at any given point in time, which are pretty good numbers, especially for
I
an
said
indie game.
it's a yeah.
To be honest, they're great numbers for any game, right? 2 million people. 2 million people paying into a game every month is far more than enough money than you'll
Oh
need
yeah,
to maintain, to
yeah.
create and maintain a game, right? So let's not. There's no concern
Worry.
there, right? The starting estimate that we're shooting for is about 250 to 300,000 people. For the most part, that's the accountant in me doing an estimate on available market hitting 10%. Why? Well, because we're not that excellent at marketing and strategy as far as all that goes. Will we have people in place? Absolutely. But until we have those people in place, I can't say we will have those people. So these are going to be the
Yeah.
numbers when that happens. It has to be realistic based on now, based on every time that we make adjustments and every adjustment that we make. So, um,
Learning.
right. So when it comes to the good versus bad, creating good forums versus bad forums, I would say Reddit in its heart is a good forum, right?
It's a good play. I was about to say it's a great idea.
Right.
It's a
And there are
perfect.
places on Reddit that absolutely thrive for the idea that they
Mhm.
had in mind, right? There are parts of Reddit where they're just absolutely amazing. There are also parts of Reddit that are the black hole. And I only bring up Reddit because I think Reddit is the perfect example of
Yeah, it
a
is.
forum having the most out there for the user to control for the most part, right? I mean, you can create subreddit
You can make
forums
your own
and
subreddit that has your
yeah,
own rules and everything. So you really don't
right.
get much more than that.
And I mean you're talking about millions and millions and millions of people utilizing that particular. I don't know if there's any forums out there that are used that. I guess if we looked at Facebook as a forum,
I say, yeah, if you counted Facebook as one, yes, but that's a really big stretch.
yeah, I think the layout's just far too different. I mean, I
That too.
think there's the difference between a social media tool and an actual forum. I think Reddit fits the forum far more than Facebook does. But so, do we want something like Reddit? Do we want something as open and unrestricted as Reddit? I think to fit our game, the answer really has to be no.
Yeah.
And does that make it a good or bad forum? Uh, I think not going with that open, absolute open dialogue type setup for our game makes that a better place. I think the issue with having that for let's say our game, right? We're an indie company. Um, we've got highly limited funding right now, right? My bank account right now.
Pretty much.
When we do become funded, it's still every dime is highly controlled and heavily guided uh, for many reasons. Mostly because we don't really have that fallback on. If we screw up our budget, it's not exactly like we can just go to the bank and say, "Hey, we need another $5 million." there's a higher level of liability for us. So when we approach opening up our forums to different types of people, we have to consider one, that there are far more people who would quickly tell you how shitty something is, whether it's shitty or not,
Not.
just for the sake of doing it. Then there are people who would tell you, or those people, fuck you, it's an amazing game. Uh, while the people saying that it's amazing, usually everybody that says it's amazing believes that, absolutely. And the other people don't, there's still way more negative voice out there on the internet.
Yep.
There's a lot more, I'm going to fuck this word up, anonymity. I screwed that shit
And
up.
I can't say it either, so I'm not even going to pretend to. Because
Anonymity, there's,
I don't know.
you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I hope they do.
I think
Yeah.
they do. I think they do. I know Neo knows what I'm saying. He always
Yeah.
knows what I'm saying. So, but to restrict the bots and the trolls, I think is our right, because we have a huge
Yeah.
uphill battle. Right, it's going to be uphill for us until launch, and then for another year or two after that. It's the beauty of being a unfunded indie company. Can they be successful? Right? And with an MMO, success isn't. I know a lot of people like to look at it like this, but success is not how many boxes you sell at launch, or
How,
how many people you've got. Right? How many people you've got from launch up until 6 months. Success is really about sustainability. Success for an MMO, and is why we haven't seen it in the last 8 years, any of the games, is there's no sustainability. There's no duration and longevity. There's no endurance for the game itself. There's no design
User joined your channel.
for an entire game after it's gone. And was that Crave? I just realized, Crave and Adora, that I forgot to text you and let you know that the podcast was starting later. I
oh,
apologize.
I was going to ask where they were.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
me.
I was
I
missing.
think I just heard him
I
come
was
into
missing.
TeamSpeak.
Yeah,
So
it's Crave. It is. I already
okay,
checked.
appreciate it, Crave. You the man. um, so I think first off for us, right? Because there are certain aspects where we have to be a little selfish first. First off, for us to avoid that uphill battle that would be Reddit, we can't sustain that. We can't handle that. We aren't WoW, right? WoW could do a
No.
Reddit type
Yeah.
forum and absolutely get away with it.
They sort of
EQ1,
do, even at the moment.
right?
But yeah.
EQ1, EQ2, for the most part, they do almost. I mean, you can't go in there with the whole "I'll murder you and
It
rape
sort
your kids" kind of thing.
depends
But
on the day. Yeah. I
right,
don't know. I've seen some pretty bad stuff there. So yeah, it
and
depends on the day.
and who's moderating, right? Because
Yeah.
people know
That's a massive change.
if you go to those forums, people know which moderators to tag to get something taken care of. Absolutely no. EQ2 Flames is a great website example for that. They're close to Reddit's
User joined
openness.
your channel.
They're not quite there, and they like to maintain a feisty environment. They want their forums competitive as well, but they're not going to sit there and allow you to just slam on everything under the sun.
Yeah, they're not going to let you be an ass to be an ass.
Right.
If you have a reason to, it's fine.
Right. If you've got sound reason and follow up, oh my goodness, I heard some of them
Yeah,
them
that's
dirges go to town on each other over some abilities. But there's a level of control there, right? They could get away with a full on Reddit setup
Mhm.
because it's EQ. At this point in time, even though I hate to say it, even though EverQuest has been done for, as far as current content, even though it's been done for, I don't know, 5 6 years,
Yeah.
it still has its niche, and it's got a powerful name, right? How many people are waiting for EQ Next to see what EQ Next is doing? How many people went back and paid a sub for an old ass EverQuest 1, dude? Old ass EverQuest 1.
Well, gotta look at how much EQ Next even got enough hype to make the time lock progression servers, and those things are jumping full of people now.
Yep, I was there when they launched. I beta tested it, and
Those
I was
things are
there when they
crazy.
launched it, and it was overloaded, man. Like my brother and I beta tested the shit out of that, and then we couldn't log in. And then they created the second server, and we still had login issues on both servers. So it was, it just goes to show you how powerful a name is. So anyway, off topic. I apologize. So but they could get away with something like that. We can't get away with that kind of stuff. We have to, we have to find that spot where we sit, where we have a good forum instead of a bad forum, full of good people and not bad people, right? We don't want people who are posting 1 to 5 word responses to fluff up their fucking post count.
Hmm.
You know who the hell I'm talking to. I know you watching. Um, we want people contributing actual conversation. Why?
Yeah.
Well, because this is a fucking indie game, okay? The truth of the matter is people aren't coming to an indie games forums to sit there and chit chat and have Facebook yes no text conversation with people. They they want to see what information they can pry out of us right now. At this point in time, that's really what it's all about. They've got questions that they want to ask, that they want answered, so that they can get as much information as they can. Why? Because they know Kickstarter's coming up. We know Kickstarter's coming up.
Yeah.
And so far, we've told them, I think everybody says this, but we've proven it to this point. So far, we've told them, we will be absolutely honest. I don't give a fuck what question you ask, we'll answer it. Regardless what question it is, we'll answer it as long as it doesn't violate. I think we have 3 things that we're trying not to talk about at all because of the value of when they actually come out. Um,
You gotta keep something to keep people
right.
interested.
So in regards to that, we'll answer anything about the creation of the game, the cost of the game, I mean, everything under the sun. Hell, I had gotten so deep into it, Wicked had to pull me back 2 or 3 times and say, look, hold on. They don't need to know. Like there is no value in them knowing that information. So just tell them this, and we're good to go. And you're not lying to them. You're not holding anything back from them, but they literally can't do anything with that information. And I said, all right, you're right. You're right. We good. Let's roll. So I think at this point in time, people want to come to the forums to do that, right? They don't want to sit there and click on 50 threads just to find
They
out
shouldn't
that,
have to sift to find 2 answers.
right, to find out that 2 people or 4 people have been going through and have an LOL fest for
Five
12
pages.
hours that day while they were at work. That's for me as one of the site moderators. For me, that made me stop reading the forums. Like it absolutely. I told Adora at one point in time, look, I got way too much shit to do. I can't be clicking on these damn posts every 5 seconds because somebody typed in, haha, LOL, you suck, I'll get you back later. Um, and that's 5 different posts right there. And I know it was 4, but I'm saying 5.
Counting's hard.
And just to find out that there's absolutely no questions in
Yeah.
there that I can help people out with. So I told her, you get any questions? I mean, I watch them now, but you get any questions? You let me know, and I'll make sure to jump on over there. And she did. She would let me know anytime there was a question she didn't have an answer for, or whatever the case may be, and I jumped on it. And I kept the forums open, and I saw that there was people posting on stuff, but for the most part, I just didn't click. Why? Because I'm doing a shitload of admin stuff and delegation of responsibility and tracking invoices, and I mean there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm doing that I really don't have 5 minutes to sit around and look at these small posts that have no value. So
Yeah.
for us, good versus bad also means controlling that kind of an environment, right? Like, I don't know, 5 years down the road, hey, have at it. People will learn. When you've got 10,000 people on the forums, people are going to find out whose posts they don't really follow because
Yep.
that's what they post, and they're going to find out who they do follow because they're posting insightful. Maybe they're theory crafting about something, or there's a series of things. Maybe they post these awesome ass how to play guides, how to guides, and best build guides, and all this stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that they want to follow. So people will figure it out at that point, but right now there isn't really that kind of time for
Yeah.
people to figure that kind of stuff out. So
Well, and the real beauty of it is like everything in life. It's a lot easier to loosen your grip later on once people learn how things work than to tighten it up because people freak out when you do that.
Right.
That's another like really rough part in this stage, I believe, is knowing how tight to hold it because if you squeeze tighter, people panic and run away. So,
Yep. And if you don't squeeze it all, people feel like you have no
oh yeah,
control, don't trust it, and same
yep,
thing, you know. So
fine line.
yep, you've got to figure it out. Why? Because a lot of gamers, especially in our target audience, they're like you and I. They
Don't
will
give a shit.
absolutely
No,
invest everything that they've got into something that they enjoy, but we've been burned so many damn times that it is hard. Like you get the
we have trust
smallest.
issues.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's to some degree it's our fault, but the reality is why should we have to be jaded motherfuckers in order to oh my god.
Yeah,
This is why I don't
no,
read chat. We shouldn't have to be jaded or heavily guarded as gamers. You know, we should be able to trust that a company is telling us this game is amazing without aliens versus predators happening, right? Great
oh
example.
no,
Oh yeah.
no,
So we never want to see
colonialism.
that,
Oh no.
and we're absolutely afraid that that kind of stuff's going to happen. And this is a fucking indie company, right? With a whole bunch of no-namers. Wicked's our big name right now. We are
Yeah,
discussing things with other names, but we can't even talk about who the fuck they are because you know they you
because of their name
right
too.
exactly. So you put your association with that kind of stuff, and there's major issues. So fuck, man, I can't even talk to anybody without an NDA anymore. At this point in the game, there's nobody I could talk to without signing NDAs, and the NDAs go both ways. Mine is you won't discuss shit about this game, and theirs is you won't tell people what we're talking about. So and that you're talking to me, and I'm sitting here like, all right, you know, it doesn't bother me at all because if we can get them in here, we get to the funded part, they see that there's something here, and we can get the names in here. I'm good for it. Quality names, obviously, but you know it's a fight. It's punch and grab and kick and stomp and there's an element of it that's really fun, and there's an element of it that makes me go, son of a bitch, when this game launches, am I going to be able to play this motherfucker? Like,
Yeah,
am I going to be able to enjoy this? I made this game for me. Am I?
that
So,
conversation happens several times. It's like, this is going great and all, but at the end of the day, am I going to be able to enjoy it?
yeah. So we'll find out. I'm pretty good at ignoring one part of my life for the sake of another. So maybe I'll do like a month grind on the game here and there. I don't know. Maybe that'll be my vacation, right? I'll be the
Yeah.
first CEO in
Well, I
history
was about to say,
to take
there you
all of
go.
his vacation leave to play with the product that we
The video
create.
game we made.
Right,
Yeah, there
right.
you go.
So
That'd be too smart.
professional versus detrimental. So in the process of being good or bad, there's that really tedious line, right? I fucking hate that line.
I say this one's worse than good versus bad.
It is. This is almost like our faction system, which we're talking about later. But so
Yeah.
one thing I've done so far, and I want to make sure that this remains evidently clear. And I understand that there are people out there that are going to be highly dissuaded by this. Um, am I trying to lie to anybody to keep somebody here? No. Fuck no. That's not what this project is about. This project is about getting back to the roots, and a part of those roots were honesty. Um, I can't even look at that shit right now because Craven Ashley or Craven Adora are just going crazy on it.
Yeah,
So
they're just having way too much fun at the moment.
they're Crave is a troll, so he's always trying to distract me
Perfect
and screw with me.
example of
So
bad forum life. Stay, keep the shit on topic. What the hell? No, I'm just like, what is this?
you get him.
What's going
So
on?
so I've seen, I don't know, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, there was this huge push on social media, right? For if you swear, you lack intelligence, or you don't understand the argument, which is another form of lacking intelligence, or you don't have an argument, and therefore you're trying to force your opinion through swearing. And there's all these ideas, right, about vulgar language. Um, there's another side of that coin, right? Because first off, I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps, deployed twice, did some shit. We were the most capable over there. I know the Army dogs and the Navy dogs and whatnot are gonna bitch about this. I don't really care. I'm not here to have a military showdown. When we were over there, pound for pound, Marines got the fucking job done without damn question. Um, we swore a lot. Hell, we had motherfuckers who had bachelor's and master's degrees kicking in fucking doors, swearing up a storm. So it's hard for me when I come back to the states and try to live that civilian based lifestyle. When I see people saying things like that, it's hard for me to understand where did that go wrong. Like, people have been fighting for gay rights, right? Which I'm good with. I was excited when they okayed the gay marriage in all states. That for me that was something that was more of a religious war than a legal war, and for me it had no real bearing on me. So it was fine for me. Or women's rights, right? Women fought for the right to vote, got the right to vote. Now I was still way too young to understand. I don't even know if I was born when that shit happened. But when I became a voter, it was automatic, right? You didn't even think about it, and then you realize that there's a whole history where that wasn't a thing at one point. To me, it's the same shit, right? There's this sense of bigotry with a swear word. Bitch, it's a fucking swear word. I'm
The
expressing.
word.
Right,
At
I'm
the end of
just
the day, it's just a
expressing
word.
myself through conversation. It doesn't matter if I come at you highly intelligent with all kinds of big words, a plethora of big words, as Adora would love to say. Um, and confuse the shit out of you. I remember when people would use a whole bunch of big words, just throw them all at you, just read out right out of a thesaurus. It's not that they understood the words, it's that they wanted to sound intelligent. And what happened then? People would always say, "Oh, well, you always trying to sound smarter. You can't communicate with anybody because." Yeah, see, Adora knows all about women's rights. She's much older than me too. She's like in her 50s. She was probably there when they did the march, when they threw the bras on the
Damn,
fire. But
shots fired.
yeah. So um, I don't know. For me, it seems like there's this irrational sense of some shit around a few fucking words, and it doesn't really make sense to me, right? So professionalism for me wasn't about whether or not we swear. Professionalism for me has always been about whether or not we handle the situation correctly. How we go about handling the situation. If we're sitting there blaming people and banning people for no reason, if we're allowing people to go around and make threats to other people, right? That
Yeah,
that would be a huge one. And we're sitting there saying, "Oh no, we gave them freedom of speech. We don't. They're not swearing at you. They're not talking shit about the game. So we're good with it."
it's
That
fine.
would for me that would be unprofessional, right? And
I agree.
there comes a point where now we haven't really had that issue. I don't think we've had anybody threaten anybody yet. We've had a couple of insults fly around, and
Yeah,
I haven't touched any of them. I think we've had two insults fly around, and I didn't touch them. Why? Because I felt they were founded insults, right? They were wake up insults. They were the
mm,
ones where it's not about picking on somebody. It's more about saying, dude, check it out. I'm trying to explain this to you. You're not fucking listening. Stop being stupid, and hear what I'm saying.
yeah.
And then laying it out for them. And there's a difference between that and what elitist is. So for me, I felt it would have been more detrimental to say, all right, I'm closing this post because you said something that could potentially hurt somebody's feelings. Not really into that. I mean, fuck. One of the insults was me, I believe. Um,
Yeah, it was.
yeah. I
It
mean,
was.
it's come on, man, for real. It's all there. I get the open dialogue and wanting to have a million conversations. At the same time, what you got to understand is that if people are coming over here to read your questions, and they're all questions that can be found 2 clicks away, they're going to express their frustration with your lack of desire to actually get to know the game, right? there's a difference between I don't really know how to put this.
The entire time you've been going on your rant, I've been trying to say of a much easier way to say this, and I really haven't found one. I don't know. Life's rough.
Life's rough.
Yeah. No, it's um. Yeah, I don't know. It's at the end of the day, like you start being professional detrimental. It's not about what you use, like what words you use to define yourself. It's what you actually do. So, is like the simpler way to put it before you went woo. But that's what you do, so it works.
I don't remember. I remember hearing about a time from my grandpa um, when it was unprofessional for a man to work in an office space. To me, that made no sense, right?
That
Because
makes no sense at all.
everybody works in office space nowadays, right? Like there's hardly any mines or anything like that anymore. No factories where people are losing
Mm,
limbs left and right and shit like that. Um, to work in an office space, and my grandfather was telling me it was his dad was one of the miners that felt that the evolution of man in a workspace needed to come out of working in a coal mine and move into managing all the paperwork. Um, and there was this idea that the paperwork was left to women because they had smaller hands, and smaller hands meant neater handwriting. Um, this is how it was explained. This may have just been how he seen it, and it was wrong. But this is how it was explained to me. But at that point in time, I mean, if we were to constantly live in a world where we say, oh well, they believe that that's unprofessional. They've got no real reason for it. They
yeah.
just believe that it's unprofessional. Therefore, we're never going to do anything. When in the fuck do we grow? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we evolve socially? Just socially, let alone professionally in our gamescape, in our business scape. How in the hell is there ever going to be evolution if we only live up to the loudest people? And it comes again, it comes to the people. It is easier to bitch about something than it is
Yeah.
to find something good about something, right? It's just it's easier. I mean, there's negative shit around you all damn day, so it's just pull from there and apply here is really what it comes down to. There's no difficulty in that. So, oh my God,
This is getting deep.
what are they even doing?
I don't know.
We got to be the only four here or something. I
I
don't know.
think we are. That's why this is happening.
Maybe they're drunk.
No, they might be. Well, they were waiting at 7 for this to happen, and then it didn't happen. The man just got pissed and said, "Fuck it," and this is what it turned into.
It's what's going on is all that candy. They did their trick or treating tonight too, and they absorbed a lot of candy,
Oh,
so
okay.
they're on a sugar high. So, all right,
Makes
so
sense.
the other one, I think we already covered this, but the other point that I had was freedom of speech versus consideration of other human beings.
Yeah,
And
those are
this
like
is,
the other ones.
yeah, I think that one's been covered pretty clearly by the Reddit conversation we had and how we don't have
I'm
that.
not drunk.
Nope.
She says she's not drunk, but I hear drunk in her voice. So, all right, so forums. Also, I just like to add we will be figuring out how to bring more life to it because we understand that there will be a much bigger need for that. And we absolutely understand that there are a lot of people out there that won't touch a forum that doesn't have, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
fuck, a
Yeah.
hundred people
If
posting it
if I don't
a week or
see
something.
so many posts a day or blah blah blah,
Right,
it's dead because forum life decides everything.
right. We're
Shit
not
like that.
going to try to create that, but we believe, just like with our economy, that
I'm
if
not
we
fucking drunk.
if we provide all of the tools, she keeps saying that, but if we provide all the tools, people will go along and work with it. So I don't believe we're providing all the tools necessary for a fully flowing forum life right now. We don't need a fully flowing forum life right now. Literally, it's there for people can interface with us, ask questions about
Yep.
systems and shit that's out there. Um, when it comes time for people to start theory crafting and talking about bugs and hacks and betas and alphas and stuff like that. At that point in time, it's we need to provide something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So Adora has to be drunk because she can't have. Yeah, they can hear you on the
Yeah.
stream now. So I'm in OBS now.
Oh,
It's
oh yeah, I forgot you're on OBS. I didn't make it so they can't hear him. I didn't know if you wanted me to do that or not.
I did.
Whoops.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, dude. Look, I totally forgot about.
I was wondering why it's so quiet, and I realized I wasn't in that channel anymore either. I'm like, why can't I hear them?
So she's okay. She's taunting me, and you can hear. You can't even hear her on the stream, can you? Because you don't have that up either. So
I have it. No, I have it up. I have it muted because I get feedback. So
okay, all right.
yeah, I just figured it was Adora saying Adora things. So
Oh, speaking of which, Bucky Cat, I gotta know, and I know your answer is gonna come up in like 30 seconds. But are you the vote for
oh, for Kuzan,
Kuzan? I gotta know.
yeah,
I gotta know.
he was so confused on who
I
voted
know
for
he's
him.
like so
He's
upset.
like, who is this? What the?
One one of my kids. So
Ugh.
we got something I say in my house, right? A long time ago, and I know people use this a lot now, but a long time ago, before people were saying it all the time, no, I let you talk, mud trucker, but it doesn't come across. Shut up.
Yeah,
But it was
I enlightened him. Leave him alone.
yeah. he he has. Oh shit! I gotta go cancel my thing with XSplit now. Now that you say that, I
You're
hope I don't
welcome.
get in trouble for saying that on a freaking live stream. I don't
I don't
think
know
so.
why
But
you would. It's not like you signed a contract or some bullshit. You
yo,
gave him money.
people will try to sue you for fucking everything. Okay, so
Yeah, I know. It's still
um,
funny.
so the saying was, God God could have made you pretty or intelligent, but not both, and He chose pretty. In my house, when somebody does something stupid, I always
Oh,
tease them and I'll say, "Man, it's a good thing you are pretty as hell." One of my boys hates, and I saw Kuzan when I saw this post. I saw my boy when Kuzan made this post, but one of my boys, if you tell him he's handsome or anything like that, he absolutely hates it. Like he's not playing around. He absolutely, and he's 11 years old. Absolutely freaking hates it. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So Kuzan, as you can tell right here, has a vote. He's 8% of the
poor
total
Kuzan.
population. Go Kuzan, you fucking rock. Um, and his
His post is the
his
best.
post was, "I voted for Bucky. I have no clue who voted for me."
Yeah, it does. He does, and it goes really great with the face next to it too. It's like, come on, guys.
Oh shit! It might be his wife. Oh, might
Okay.
have been Bucky's wife.
Yeah.
Whoo!
No.
I read that wrong. I read it might have been his wife. I'll ask when she
Uh,
wakes up. And I'm just
yeah. That's
thinking,
that. I read that the way first way too. That's why I was all quiet. I was like, damn.
oh man, good stuff. Hey, Gildy's right. Probably know what his wife smell like.
That's what happens in a guild nowadays, huh?
You
Damn.
don't,
It's
you
been a
don't even
while.
some of the guilds I've been in, bro. You don't even know. Oh, the classics. That was the thing about the classics, dude. The classics were such small, tight knit communities that a whole fucking raid or guild would be destroyed because you found out that the raid leader was sleeping with one of the class leaders' wives or some shit, man.
That actually
Whoo!
happened in my first WoW guild that I joined when I was a kid with my uncle. One of the officers was sleeping with the other officer's wife every time he was deployed. It was really bad, bad,
Yep,
bad.
yep.
Yeah, exactly.
There's those small things, and that shit will tear a fucking guild apart, man.
That
Ugh.
guild was together for like 12 years across like so many different things, and then it was gone in one weekend. I was like, what happened? And
It's
then,
one of the moments
yeah,
where, oh, sorry, where it's mommy just hit daddy kind of thing, and everybody's so they just want to separate themselves from the act. They want nothing to do with it. So
yeah.
it'll kill you. All right, so let's talk about something that I am falling in love with the more and more we talk about it as founders, um, and your team going into the
Hmm.
second stage of it.
Oh, thought you muted yourself for a second.
Uh-uh.
It got dead fucking quiet. I was like,
I was reading something Adora here
Oh,
said,
okay.
and at the same time wondering how many fucking times I have to turn off the damn filter, because I kid you not, I'll pull it up on my damn stream. I've got the filter turned off on my fucking uh, stream, and I'm still seeing the asterisks when she says rude as fuck. Why? Why? Twitch? Why you hate me like that? It's a fucking 18 plus channel. Like, you have
To
to
be
verify your damn email
I
address.
think she's honestly probably trolling the shit out of you because I have it set too, and I still see stars. I'm wanting to think she probably put up stars to troll the fuck out of us.
I hope not. I hope not. All right,
I don't know.
so faction. Faction in so one of the things we as gamers wanted to do was we wanted to go back to the classics. Not because they're the classics, but because they did a lot of shit right. Right? They did a lot of things absolutely right. And you could see that in WoW's success because
Mhm.
all except for those who are still in denial, everybody, for the most part, understands that WoW took all of those highly successful elements and plugged them into a single game and blew the fuck up.
Yep.
It is
They did it well on top of it.
right,
So
absolutely, and it was. I mean, it was probably the smartest business decision anybody's ever fucking made.
oh yeah,
I mean,
easily.
it was brilliant. There's no love lost over it, nothing like that. Blizzard, you fucking scored. Um, will you ever
Yeah.
see that happen again? No, absolutely not. I
No
believe
one has enough money.
right the money because
So
the legal fees at this point in time, right? So a couple reasons why I got away with it was because the IP laws were a little different for intellectual property on video game software kind of stuff. It it didn't function strong enough to say, well, he's only got one or two of your systems. You know, it's
yeah,
really not copyright infringement at that point in time. So WoW understood this to their fullest, and they took full advantage of it. Um, Good on you. I would love to be able to say that could happen again, but I think we've seen enough WoW type clones. Now, not everything out there was a WoW clone, but we've seen
yeah.
enough clone type games that we can see it's just not. It's not that people don't want it.
It's WoW still does it better. Is one
WoW.
thing
Well,
I personally use as well. Well,
they've
some
got a
and
fuck
they
it.
have the massive pull.
At this point in time, they've got a 10-year advantage, and they already had what 3-4 million people. I mean, how many
Yeah,
of us played Warcraft 1, 2, and 3?
Warcraft.
Right?
Oh, three.
I mean,
Oh,
once
three.
once most people heard it was going into an MMO, it didn't matter what game they were playing, they wanted that fucking game.
Everyone played it. Yep.
Absolutely. So they had the perfect, I mean, the absolute perfect mix of everything you need to blow up the way they did. And now
Yeah.
they're well, they should be filthy stinking rich because they pull in some god 10 billion
Yeah.
um
Like
gross.
oh,
That's gross. That's not net. So that's, cost and whatnot. But they pull in some $10 billion a month. It's gone down a little bit with their subs diminishing. But man, you
but
had
their other games are covering their ass too. That's the next big thing. Like
right.
they didn't just strike lightning once, honestly. Like the other games
Hearthstone.
haven't been
It,
as good, but like they're really good. Like Hearthstone,
right.
Heroes, it's
Yep.
MOBA genre is harder to get into, but it's still doing well. Overwatch is gonna take off like a fucking storm.
They're
It's already proven
they're very
themselves.
good at paying attention to what other games are doing and going about it, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, we've watched games try to both copy WoW and evolve from WoW systems for the past decade. It's easily been 10 years of just fail after fail after fail of people either trying to do an exact copy of WoW with years behind. Nobody's going to jump into that shit.
Yeah,
Um,
no one is.
and people trying to take WoW's model, game model, not business model, but their game model and evolve it. Like, so what would be the next step of this and this and this? And
Hmm.
really evolve one, maybe two areas. It's not really enough to make a change, to make something that's dynamic, something that is drastic enough to pull people away. Um, we didn't want to get caught in that. So we said, well, let's go back to where WoW even evolved from. Because WoW didn't just take the systems from the game. WoW took the systems from these games and improved those systems. So EQ1, Final Fantasy and EQ1 both had amazing economies. Absolutely
It,
fucking brilliant economies. WoW took the sample of those economies, improved a little bit, put it in a damn game, right? This WoW was probably the last game to have a full game scope before they started creating the game. They were, I have no doubt in my mind that when they sat down and created this MMO, they did it the way it was supposed to be done. The way it used to be done was they sat down and they figured out all these things they're going to have in their game, and then they started creating them. Then they started putting them together because at that point in time, you could see how they would all work together, how they would complement each
mm,
other, and it was much easier to create that way instead of well, what Swotar did, where they created a whole bunch
yeah.
of systems independent of each other, and
And then
once they
tried duct taping them together.
right, and then tried exactly cramming them together
Yeah,
into
it was.
a
Uh,
UI that just wasn't very user friendly at all. Um,
yeah.
so what we wanted to do was go all the way to hell back, all the way back to the classics. A large part of our audience has played the classics, so it's safe to say that they understand why there's a reason we wanted to go back to this. Smite, that's another one. Smite, I watch one of my boys play Smite all the fucking time.
I say.
So,
I will say Smite is while it's not an MMO, they did a fantastic change to how MOBAs are played, and I think
right.
it's good. And it has its own niche yet again, so it does well.
So, one of the things we looked at, or one of the ideas we had was we wanted to create so the games are considered 3D MMOs, right? Because you go into the game space and you can stand in one spot, look around, up, down, everything, right? It's not an overhead click target. It's not a mud. You're not just typing text on a screen. It's a full on in. I don't know what the word
I
I'm
don't
looking
know where
for
you're
is,
going with this, so
but
yes or no, I just don't know what you're aiming for.
so the player model is really the largest 3D aspect of these MMOs. We wanted to bring a lot of other shit to life because in reality, and this is something you'll find is we've blended a lot of reality concepts with gaming concepts to try to understand what the next evolution would be. But we wanted to take these all these systems and give them far more life because playing them again with a new skin just isn't enough. We're not EA. We can't get away with that kind of shit. We can't, we can't create.
Wow.
We can't. Well, we can't. And it's. I
No,
mean,
it's not that we can't. It's shameless fucking truth just shoved down your throat. Yeah, we're not EA, so I'm
like I
sorry.
said,
It got me off guard.
nobody's ever accused me of not speaking my mind. So,
Oh no, it wasn't that problem. It was just fucking hilarious.
but I mean,
Continue.
we can't do Call of Duty, right? What are they on like
Black
seventh
Ops
or
fucking
eighth?
3.
Yeah.
Black
So
Ops fucking 3. Same
maybe
thing.
9.
We added 5 guns.
Right. So it's literally the same thing. It's like Madden football, which again
Mm.
published by EA. They touch up one maybe two systems, reskin it with new graphics, and throw it on out there. I mean, why recreate all the damn code? The reality
Yeah.
is, if people are fucking buying into it, why in
Yeah.
the hell would you waste the money to go about any other way? With an MMO world, it's you can't really get away with that kind of shit in an MMO world. I mean, how many times do people try to reskin WoW and then it just absolutely fails? We've had some really good games out there where if they had actually not screwed up a few areas, they would have been amazing. Rift is probably the closest game we've had to something that can actually
Yeah.
compete with WoW since WoW's release. And their fucking major issue was those bunch of motherfucking
Because
idiots.
their
This
issue is their name's Tryon. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and they just make shitty decision after shitty
Yeah.
decision. But they took what 60% of the damn developers off of Rift after it launched, which had a very
Yes.
promising launch. Okay, absolutely promising launch.
One of the
Very
best I've seen.
right, very sound game. They had a very detailed storyline that was about to come out that we understood it, and they went and took all their damn developers and put them over on Defiance. And how the fuck did that buy to play nightmare turn out? So, that's probably the closest game we've had. Rift was a complete game, an absolutely complete game. Sure, there were some things that needed to be hashed out, but any fucking game has some
Yeah,
things that
every
needs to
game
be
has
hashed
that.
out. So that's
Nothing's
not a qualifier for failure, not even remotely. The game itself was very good, very sound. They only had one maybe two developers nobody liked. Unfortunately, one of them was in the fucking class um, creation, class management system, but that individual got fired fairly quickly. Probably would have happened a lot sooner, but you know when you're coming up to launch, it's really nerve wracking.
Yeah.
So when it comes to us going at this, we can't reskin. We won't get away with that. So we're trying to take a look at these systems and create a more 3D feel for it. Make it easier to get immersed into the system. So with our faction system, we took what players. So EverQuest is probably the easiest faction system to understand. You're you're either in the middle, you're on the good side of the person, or you're on the bad side of the person, right? So you're either indifferently. They had like amiably, ally, kindly, and then there was threateningly, um, kill on sight, and I mean there was a couple more, but you knew exactly which faction was
Yeah.
with that person. That faction was typically, because there weren't really that many quests out there, was typically altered by killing things. There were a few quest turn-ins you can make to increase faction, like bone chips and whatnot would increase faction and decrease faction, and it, it had a 2D, two-dimensional aspect to it, where if you killed a lot of NPCs, there were both a positive and a negative faction hit. So
Hmm.
that was the faction we were looking at that we wanted to improve on, because it was a sound faction system and it made a lot of sense. An NPC usually fit into a specific group, like Irreleasing Mar, or whatever the hell that was, and if that NPC was in that group, as long as you had faction with the entire thing, your NPC with any faction in that group was good to go. We wanted to go further than that. We wanted to push a little further than that. So a couple things we looked at was an actual 3D faction system, right? So all names. You hear me say this a million times. You get sick and tired of me saying this. I'm gonna say this until you say this shit for me.
Uh,
All names you hear are right now subject to change. Absolutely subject to change until launch. Probably even after that. I don't really
That's it.
motherfucking
Yeah.
know. That is the beauty of an MMO, is things can change like that because they need to or because we want them to. Nobody really knows. So what we created was a three-layered faction system, and this is just one aspect of the 3D faction system. We've got that same alignment type setup, and that is when you walk up to an enemy, either you're an ally, they're indifferent to you, or you're their enemy, right? With a few in betweens, in between indifferent and
Hmm.
the far side of the scale, and that's one layer. Okay, so when you walk up to them, you can be an ally, an enemy, or indifferent, or building to either direction. After that, uh, I guess I should go in. So this would essentially be your evil good modifier almost. Um,
Yeah.
so if a bad guy, let's say some merchant or some bandits, if you were allied with the bandits, you're probably going to wind up being an enemy with guards somewhere, right? So this is how that one weighs out. This is like the
Cause and effect.
right. So this is the good bad kind of side to it. Then we've got favor in there, and favor is a little different than the other one. Favor is more about um, whether or not an NPC is willing to work with you. It's not whether they see you as a good person or a bad person, and whether or not they're willing to kill you or help you out if you get into
No.
a fight. This is favor is more along the lines of, am I really willing to give you information that's going to help you out? I mean, information is valuable, and I'm trying to run this farm, but I saw where the bandits went with that, ruby that the princess was trying to get back. But I might need,
Yeah.
to trust you a little more. I don't know that I really give a fuck
I don't
enough
know you.
about you. Right. I see that you're good to walk around, and I don't really have to worry about you robbing me, but that doesn't mean I want to help you out, right? I don't know you. on a personal level. And that's really where favor comes in. Favor is that interpersonal relationship with an NPC. Between NPCs as well. Keep in mind, that kind of stuff is constantly thriving for NPCs too. And then we've got the reputation. And reputation is all about this one's a little harder to explain. Um, so reputation really helps you earn the other two factions at a lower or higher rate, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one is you've got one that's general trust, right? So the king says he's a good person. Sure, he's a good person. He's walking by my farm. I see him. I don't need to call the guards. He's not a wanted outlaw. We're good to go here. The other one is he's come and asked me for information, um, and I give it to him, or I won't give it to him because fuck him. And the third is he's trying to earn my favor. He's trying to earn my respect. I'm not really sure that I really give a fuck enough to get right. So faction grinding, this would come into play. The reputation
Mm-hmm.
would absolutely come into play in that regard. So we have a three-layer system just in that regard. On top of that, every individual NPC has the potential to belong to more than one faction, right? It's not really the same as the old school games where one NPC fits inside of a single group and that's the faction you build for that NPC. In this regard, it's a little different. For instance, let's say an NPC that is a merchant inside of the starting city at Tronomir. I'm just making up a name. Um, let's say your faction with the city, and since the NPC lives there, it's important for the NPC, is absolutely strong, right? But you haven't been working on a merchant guild. So if you come along with a quest, maybe the guards, the captain of the guard, as you on a quest, the NPC will help you out. But if you're trying to sell goods, maybe that merchant doesn't trust you enough to sell goods because you haven't built up that
Yeah.
faction on that merchant. So there, each of these NPCs are going to have different types, different associations at the same exact time, and it's going to interact not just with you but with other merchants as well. And you'll see how this comes into play when we start getting more involved with different merchant types and trade routes and all this stuff that
That's it. It'll start branching out a lot.
very much so. And Wicked's already been nerding out on some algorithms and logarithms for all of this, and he's pretty excited about all that. Right. So Cray brings up another one. The city guards may actually dislike you, but guard Jeffrey, maybe you saved his wife the night before. So while he can't help you as far as the city guard goes, he might have a personal interest on a completely unrelated matter. So if you walk into the town, right, and the guard says he's threateningly, if he gets too close, arrest his little punk ass, put his ass in jail. If you see an opportunity, beat his ass. Um, whereas, if you see Jeffrey, he's a person too, right? NPCs are people too. If Jeffrey's out planting flowers at his wife's gravestone, but you did a quest where you got vengeance for the person that murdered his wife. You went and killed him. Jeffrey might have a different inclination at that point in time. He's not wearing a uniform right now. Nobody's looking at him, so he can act a little
Yeah.
differently. And if you approach him on a completely different matter, then maybe he's willing to give you some advice or some guidance on a quest that you were trying to get information for but can't really get close enough to the city to get that information. So there's a whole entire atmosphere going on just by adding these couple of elements. um there's a few things to note. One is there are going to be hard faction locks, and what that means is if you kill an NPC's wife,
Oh, yeah.
there should be at no point in time any instance where you can go and earn faction back with that NPC, right? In the real world, if you murder my wife, I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck how much good
Never
your ass
gonna
has
like you,
done.
kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate your fucking guts for the rest of your life. As a matter of fact, being a Marine, being who I am, there's probably a really good chance that I'm going to be standing over your bed at some point in time. These NPCs are people too. I'll say it a billion more
NPC life
times.
matters.
They're
Lives.
going to ration things out a lot more like people do. They're not just ones and zeros. There's more to them than that. So while that NPC may absolutely hate your guts, okay, you've got that hard faction lock with that motherfucker. But the king has you on a quest, right? And it says, you need to go into the woods, but only this one guy knows the path through this dark, murky woods to get to where you need to go. And that just so happened to be the dude whose wife you killed. So he hates your
Yeah.
guts indefinitely, right? It's never going to change. He's done with you for the rest of your life and his life. Um, but the king's given him an order to help you out. He's going to help you out because the king told him to. He may not be as forthcoming
Might
with
not be true.
information, right? He may not be as forthcoming with information. He may leave some pertinent information out. He may even try to ambush you after he's done what the king has requested, because after that, it's all fair game, right? Fair game, love and war, love something like that, whatever.
Yeah, close
Um,
enough.
but virtual lives matter. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
exactly. It does.
shit. I don't. I'm not posting
You
that
started
hashtag.
this.
I know why. So
You started
love you,
this.
Crave. So the hard faction exists, but their secondary factions could, not always will, but could give them
Overruled.
reason to go and do something, even though they absolutely hate your guts, right? Because in reality, do you really want to piss the king off? You really want to lose your head over this piece of shit that you could just set up at a later date and give him some poor information? Maybe not tell him about a big ass boss if you don't do this, this, and this with some levers. Um, I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios that can come into play here that we're absolutely we've thought of like 100 of them already, and we're absolutely incorporating them. And I think players are going to have a blast. It allows us to put hard choices in the game without ruining the game, right? Because a lot of times if you did a hard choice in a game, you were cut off from information or from a
I
whole
can't get
aspect
the
of the game.
good ending anymore.
Right.
Stuff like
In this aspect, you may still be able to get it, but it's not going to be the same for you. It's not going to be the same results. It's going to change your experience from the person standing next to you. Maybe the person standing next to you needs to be the one to go and interact with that NPC and get that information. And maybe because we do have, and this is something that I'll bring it up in a second, we do have proximity, guilty by association, involved in this faction system. Maybe that individual shouldn't even be in eyesight when your buddy's talking to the
mhm.
NPC, because if he sees you standing there with his buddy, he may say, "I'd love to give you some information, but I see you're hanging out with that motherfucker who killed my wife a few weeks ago, and I'm sorry, I can't help
Fuck
you."
him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's an entire dynamic there. So
And it's really lame, but as you're doing this, I'm surprised I didn't think of it as, like, the other day when I was reading this. It's like a massive choose your own adventure book. I don't know if anyone ever read those as a child. I'm probably just being stupid, but that's what, yeah,
I
it
did.
works.
It was different. I only read one, and I think I made it halfway through because I kept getting
You kept,
results I just didn't want.
yeah. And you're like, no, go back.
Yeah, yeah. And I just
Just
got lost at some point. I mean, shit, I was like
uh,
12 years old. There was no keeping
yeah,
track of
no,
that
that's
shit.
I just remember from like elementary school and middle school. They were like the shit back then. Everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta read this. What happened to you?" And then there's that one kid's like, "I just went to the back of the book and saw what happened and made sure I got it." It's like, yeah,
Oh, that's dirty.
okay,
That's cheap. All right.
pretty much.
How to obtain faction changes. I only wrote, it's really
I see.
four things down. We actually talked about something which inspired me to start up some
Oh,
documentation. Did it?
yeah.
No, I didn't
I
write it up
say
about that one, but the other
I
one I
wrote
did.
it down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I asked you to write it down. So quests, obviously. So you got non-repeatable and repeatable quests, and I want to double emphasize: repeatable quests are not the same as dailies. Okay, dailies are quests that you do once a day, once every 24 hours, and that's either within a 24-hour time period, so from midnight to midnight, and it resets every midnight, whether you've done it or not, or 24 hours from
4
doing
hours
the
from when you
quest.
do it.
Usually in those cases, I think games have started doing 18 hours from when you complete the quest, but
Yeah.
we won't have that shit. The closest thing we have to that is raid lockout timers, and it's really raid boss lockout timers, um, and we're doing that differently than what other games do as well. So, but the repeatable quests we have every 24 hours from when you do the quest the first time, there is a maximum and minimum reward. So if you turn it in the first time, you get the maximum amount of reputation or faction from that quest. And every time after that, there is a what the hell's the word I'm looking for?
Diminishing
Diminishing.
return.
Yep, diminishing return on the reward given down to a minimum. So you should never hit zero. Um,
Yeah.
but maybe it's 20% of what the maximum reward is. And you can continue to do that over and over again. So if you're faction grinding, that could absolutely be the way you do it. And it may take some time, but we didn't want it to take days and months because we locked it behind a fucking timer before you could ever do it again. We wanted to be able to provide players who wanted to sit there and play the fucking game 24 fucking hours a day, something to fucking do. I hate not not playing a game because there's literally nothing to do, because I can't faction grind, I can't raid, I can't run groups, I can't do anything fun because everything's locked behind timers.
Locked out.
Yep. So we're stepping the fuck away from that bullshit. So and we've got enough raids that you can raid every fucking night and still have a raid unlocked.
Yeah.
So um
If you're not doing
kills,
something, it's your own damn choice.
right. At this point in time, the way we've set this shit up, if you don't have something to do, I'm gonna give you the same advice I give. Somebody gave me, God, what is it, 7, 8 years ago now? Plan ahead. Know what you're doing before you walk into the game, because there's something to fucking do. Um, kills, obviously, if you kill NPCs, you're building faction. For the most part, for the absolute most part, this is 99.99% of the time. Um, there's not going to be you killed so and so and now your faction has been ruined, or your faction is absolutely amazing. Um, killing that NPC's wife, first off, you knew it was the NPC's wife. Second off, there has to be evidence that you did it. He's not just going to magically know that you did it. It's just not fucking happening, which will bring me to my next point. But the kills, there's only a few that we're even talking about right now where it can absolutely destroy or beautify your faction with an individual. And in those regards, it will be with an individual or two, not with an entire faction chain. So for the most part, the kills are, nicks, little hits every time you kill them, to get you to increase. Then we've got proximity is important. So the way proximity works is, and Adora was worried about trolls. We allow her to worry about trolls to a degree. At some point, players just need to be fucking smart. That's not meant to be an insult. That's just reality. If you're in a fucking group with a dude that's ruining your faction, get the fuck out of the goddamn group.
Leave. It's not hard.
For crying out loud. Seriously. So, we did want to add in a proximity, because the reality is, if I'm sitting, if I'm hanging out on the street with my boy, and my boy decides to go and start beating on Check's wife, and Check hears that I just watched as my boy beat Check's wife's ass, Check's gonna be really fucking pissed off at me. It's going to affect the way Check feels about me. There's no question about that. Could you imagine any situation where that doesn't play out, Check?
No.
Nah, me either. So there is, it's not the same as if I had gone, if I had gone and beat on Check's sister, Check would hunt me down. Versus me just watching somebody beat on Check's sister.
Yeah, it's like, dude, why the fuck did you let it happen, sort of deal.
Right. He's going to be absolutely pissed. And it's those are one of them elements where that's going to be one of the things that's going to affect more your favor or your reputation than the other two factions. So there is a proximity involved when you're grouped up with people. So if you're in a group with assholes, pay attention to what the hell you're doing, man. Seriously.
I say know who you're playing with.
Yeah, don't just randomly join groups and then not pay attention to what's going on. You should be seeing your faction hit changes in your freaking chat box. Watch your
Yeah.
chat box. I mean, it's moving. It's literally text is scrolling by. There's something happening. See what's happening. Um, in this game, in this motherfucker that we're building, I usually have a separate box for my personal chat, so my guild, my group, my tells,
Yeah.
for combat, and then for all general channels. I will have a fourth box, or even put it in combat with all faction hits.
Yeah.
So because faction is going to be detrimental in this game. Um, Hard faction hits will never happen proximity based. You will get a
Yeah.
hit, but it won't be a hard faction hit. So that's not something that we will do because that doesn't make sense. As I explained, there's a massive difference the way Czech
Between
feels
you
about
doing the
me.
act
Right,
and then you watching it.
right, exactly. So
You seeing someone die is not the same as you killing them
right.
at
So
all.
and then witnesses. So this was something that we talked about that Adora brought up that I thought was something that's been vastly overlooked in an MMO, and that's witnesses. How in the fuck are you gaining faction hits and
Yeah.
decreases if nobody knows that you killed them? Are you pissing on their corpses? Are you leaving fecal matter behind and they're testing for
Yeah.
DNA?
The
I mean,
DNA
what
test.
exactly is it?
Call in CSI.
Right. Why are these faction changes magically automatic? So there's an element to if you're trying to do something and you don't want a faction hit, kill all the fucking witnesses.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. There are going to be areas where there's just no way you're going to kill the all the witnesses, and it's not going to happen. So you're going to see the faction hits happen automatically because in those types of areas, those highly populated areas, uh, it's just assumed that all these NPCs, somebody's
This
walking away.
isn't Skyrim. You can't mass murder the entire
No, you really can't.
town. So,
And shit, the if you kill anybody in a town, good luck with that.
mhm.
Have fun
Yeah,
with
no,
that. I mean, we might incorporate some type of night murder mission or some shit like that
but
where
just saying it now because well, there's gonna be people that bitch that go, I can murder people, but why can't I murder everyone?
right,
Because that would ruin the game.
good luck, have fun.
It would. It
The
would ruin
the
the game.
guards are coming and the guards are not to be
Yeah, the
fucked with.
guards
So
are coming. Yeah.
have fun with the guards. Uh, I think that's what I've got there as far as the faction system
Yeah.
goes. So
Doctor. Oh God, Doctor Hodgins. But then what we talked about is actually really kick ass, and I think it'll work.
they called Dr. Hodgins, huh?
Hmm.
I'm not. Now we're gonna have a fucking NPC named Dr. Hodgins.
Probably.
There's no probably. She's already written the shit down.
What you could.
Does anybody have any questions about any of this? While that takes 15 seconds to go through.
Mhm. Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was singing the theme song to Jeopardy.
Oh, I thought you were saying something before I rudely interrupted you.
I wasn't really rude. I'm not that sensitive.
That's fine. I didn't think it was rude, anyways.
Oh well, fuck you too.
Aw.
Hmm.
Reprinting my notes because I realized I put proximity and witnesses on the same line, and it looks like being a witness makes you guilty. I don't want that. That's all right. Firewood or fire kindling. So
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
see,
What's she freaking out about now? Oh, that
Dr.
you wrote it down.
Hodgins, dude.
Oh, Dr. Hodgins.
Yeah, Dr. Hodgins. I'm telling you, you should put that shit in the game. All right. So while you guys come up with questions, I'm actually going to close this doc because I don't need it anymore. And that too, because I don't need that anymore. A
Oh,
reminder.
Night Night ran away.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was afraid we were going to talk about him again.
A reminder for the raid contest. I should have put a link up. I didn't, but I'm going to link it in chat now. Oh, I'm on the fucking contest, so
I was about to say you're right there.
I know. So a reminder for the raid contest. Grab your buddies, go vote. Remember, Kuzan needs a lot more love. Um, he's only got
We need to
one
figure out who gave him the love too. That's
right.
actually kind of funny.
He needs 6 more votes to win this thing from this point, and that's if nobody votes for any of the other two. So come on, people, get motherfuckers out there to vote for Kuzan. I'm actually going to post a vote for Kuzan Twitter message.
Red.
So
Oh, there you go.
have fun with that, Kuzan. We love you. I'm gonna ask you many questions. I know he doesn't want to come on here because he doesn't want me asking him any questions.
Yeah.
I know that's exactly what it is. Which raid was yours specifically again? Kuzan, reveal the real. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
His is the really kick-ass one,
Yeah.
honestly.
I actually liked all
good.
3 of these.
His is really
so,
cool.
But yeah. Oh, and then I'll give you crap for this fucking coloring you're using here. Like, what the hell, bro? Ugh.
People in general just choose really shitty colors for forms.
Motherfuckers. You bastards are the reasons why I can't. Oh shit. What do we got here? Oh, we got another raid entry for the next competition.
Oh.
I'll read this
I haven't
later.
checked. Is it? Who's it by? Oh, it was another one from Jacklow.
Yep. Oh, this is an
Yeah.
in-house member. So lore team. So Jack Lau now has 2 for our in-house raid. See, there we go. The fucking blue on a damn blue background. Like it actually looks good on the stream. So I'll read it through OBS. That's what I'll do.
On the stream, it looks fine. I'm looking at it on the website. It's fucking awful. So
The background is just too damn light, and we've darkened up that background quite a bit. Like we've gone 3 or 4 tones darker because of suggestions from externals. So if
I hate to
I
be that guy, you just need to make it so everyone uses the same damn color.
yeah,
You really do.
right now
People hate that, but it works so much better on everything. Cause
the problem with that right now is it defaults everything. We can't figure out the way around to keep the moderators with their color differences. And when I go and post any post with multiple different types of text, I can't even use it. So everybody gets white, to include myself and Wicked and Adora and all of us. I mean, I already can't do anything other than the normal size because, I don't know, I guess somebody was going around with like massive text or something.
Someone had stupid size of text, so.
Yeah, that's... oh, my goodness. So, good, bad forums, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So remember, head over there to vote. You got 1 week left. On Friday, we announce the winners. If it's Sid that wins, he's Australian. His punk ass is gonna have to get his drunk ass
I
up.
say he's gonna have to get out of bed fucking early.
Well, we do this at 9 o'clock at night. Isn't that like 5 or 6 a.m. over there?
9 o'clock at night. Where are you getting these times, bud?
9 o'clock. I don't know. 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. What? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a different day. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'll figure it out with him. I'm sure he's good with it. Sid's
fine.
a crazy beast.
Kuzan's
anyway,
gonna
so.
win. Kuzan has to.
And Kuzan's here all the time, so we know it's not a problem for Kuzan to show up. So we're good. Yeah, Tin's been busy doing a light show. It actually looked really good too. All right, so if we've got no questions and you guys are sick and tired of hearing myself and, well, mostly me and Chet
Mostly,
talk,
yeah, I'll say, I'm just here.
I'll figure out how to control my chitter chatter and get Chet way more involved. Don't worry about that.
Oh God.
It's something I need to work on. But yeah, so.
Still be waking drunk. Good enough.
Oh my God. You think he's awake and drunk right now? I don't think he's awake right now. Maybe he is.
Bucky Cat, what time is it there?
Yeah, what time is it right now, Bucky? Man, we met Sid playing ESO. That guy. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's 9 a.m. That's not even bad. We did start an hour later, but he'll have to get up early, but not that early.
So it's a 12-hour difference exactly, huh? Yeah, so he ain't got to get up that early. So.
Nah.
God, this has been going for an hour and a half. Why don't you shut me up?
I don't know what there is to do.
Mute me. Oh wait, I got all the controls over here. Damn
Honestly, I'm
it.
gonna have to mute myself.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right.
We had a life-threatening matter. Not really.
All right. So,
Yeah.
uh, thank you for coming. And sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I got everything rolling here as I do my outro. Um, what do you say? Bet
Hmm?
Steve's whole check. Oh, that
Oh, she's still on the
that
whole that he's
Craig's
awake and
still
drunk thing.
or that Sid's still awake and drunk.
Awake and drunk.
I don't know if he drinks that much anymore.
Depends on the day.
Yes, he would. Oh my god, I fucking love that dude. And talking about a taxi cab driver that asked him out on the way home or some shit. I don't even remember half the stuff he talked about, but thank you for joining this madness that is the Sacrament podcast. Again, if you got anything specifically you want to hear about, fuck, you can send me a damn message if you don't want to post it out loud on the forums. Out loud on the forums.
Out.
Um, I treat everything like you're talking to somebody, so it's
Easier.
it's yeah, it really is. Some people look at you weird. I don't really give a fuck about those people anyway. So you old ass bastards can stop telling me to get off your lawn. I'll get off your lawn when I'm done pissing. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I realized today that as I was going through the list and providing links that I don't need to do that because from day one all of the links that I'm about to discuss are actually down
Today was a day
below.
of learning.
Yeah, so
Today was a day full of
I
learning.
set it up. I didn't have anybody set it up for me. I set it all up and totally forgot. So down below, you'll find links to Facebook, Twitter, our website, and our forums, as well as the volunteer form. I left the donate tab out because I still don't want that open, and the verbiage down there explains, while I appreciate your money and your donation, we do have a Kickstarter coming up, and that's really where we need to thrive right out the gate. That's really our right out the gate. This is all
Yeah.
alpha game discussion, really. I mean, if there was an alpha to an alpha, this would be that. So, so for those of you that are here, actually here, taking any of this, I absolutely appreciate you. You are the reason why we decided to talk about this game before we were ready to go into Kickstarter, before we were ready to go into a funding phase, because there are people out there that are always interested in seeing the core fundamentals of a game from the very start. So, anyways, love you and enjoy the video.
A good one, guys. Bless you.